This is Daxx Nielsen from Cheap Trick, and you're listening to No Good Music.
I have a special guest with me today. This is his second time on our podcast. He's the drummer for the legendary rock band Cheap Trick. They released their 21st studio album, All Washed Up, recently, and in December, they performed at the Kennedy Honors in support of KISS. And let's all welcome to No Good Music, Mr. Daxx Nielsen.
Hey, everybody.
We don't have a crowd today.
No Good Music. All right. Hey, can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Don't mind me. I'm eating my lunch.
That's all good.
Granola bar. It's good to see you, Daxx.
You too, Rob. Like your outfit.
Yeah, you're on this shirt.
Hey, how about that?
So how are you doing? You're in Rockford?
No, I live in Phoenix.
Oh, you live in Phoenix. Okay.
Yeah, I moved about 4 years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, that's Arizona.
Yeah.
So you're pretty far from your parents, I guess.
Yeah, it's about a 3.5-hour flight, something like that. But
okay.
You know, when you live in a hometown with people, with your family, you probably see them more when you move away. Because you come home, you spend more time. You know, just because you live in the same city doesn't mean you see everybody.
Well, you have more to talk about, but of course you tour with your father. So.
Yeah, almost over 15 years now. Crazy.
I saw a video. We'll talk about the album, but I saw a video of you, and I think it's great that there's video of your first performance with Cheap Trick.
Right.
You're 21. You had just turned 21, I guess.
Oh, you're talking about way back when.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First time.
That wasn't the very first. I was doing that whole tour at that point. I did the encores because my band, Harmony Riley, was opening up for Cheap Trick on that tour. So then Bunny's back started hurting pretty bad. So eventually he asked me to do the encores for about a week.
Oh, okay.
And then I took over full time. And then it wasn't much. I think that was like late June. And we shot that on my birthday, August 12th.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
2001. So I was probably 15 shows in, but still 15 out of,
mm-hmm.
I've done over 1,500 now. So pretty new.
And then you started in, I guess, full-time 2008, right?
2010, March 2010.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, 15 years. So the new album, this is your fifth album with Cheap Trick.
Correct. Yep. Four studio ones and then a Christmas album in there too.
A lot of albums coming out now are like, they're 20 songs. They're like, they don't pick, I think, the best songs. Sometimes they just put everything
right
out there. I think this is the most perfect album. I honestly like the last 5 albums you guys did anyway, but I think this is sonically works. I think there's one ballad on this album.
And one more than AC/DC ever did.
Yeah. Yeah, they've never did a ballad.
They don't do ballads. I think Ride On was about as close as you get. That's a great tune. But
you did this in 3 different locations. Can you tell me a little bit? We have Nashville, LA, and Florida.
Yeah. So we were on tour that summer. We were supposed to be out with Heart all summer. And that was the year we did about 3 weeks with them. And then Anne had some health issues and had to cancel the rest of the year. Yeah. And so by that point, it was too late for the band to book shows for the summer. No promoter is going to book you 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out. Mm-hmm. So we had the summer off basically. So we went pretty much right in the studio in Nashville and started working on it. And, we did most like the basic tracks, drums, rhythm guitar, bass, some background vocals or vocal ideas in about a week or so. And then kind of went our separate ways to finish writing some of the melodies and lyrics and whatnot. So from that point on, I think, guitar overdubs or vocals were done kind of wherever was available, whether it was Nashville or LA, like you said. And just kind of, we had a little bit of time to do an album that we wanted to do anyways, but we had plans all summer, and then it just kind of opened up and it worked out great.
I find it interesting. I get the Christmas card.
Right.
This one's from 2020. Let's see, 2024.
Nice.
And it actually in the corner it says new album coming in 2025. So I guess there was.
Did it come on 26? I guess it came on 25, right?
Yeah, but this was December 24.
Yeah, we recorded in summer of 24.
Oh, 24. Okay. Not this past summer. Okay.
No, we were out with Rod Stewart all this summer. But it was one of those, there was no deadline. to put it out. So I think we took our time, really got it to, come together like almost organically over time versus like the due dates, September 31st, because it has to be out by Thanksgiving. It was like, whenever you're done.
It's great that you don't have and then you can, I think some things that are rushed like that are just, they're rushed, and
well, don't they say like
may not come out as the way you want them to?
Yeah, I think every band's first album took 5 years to write, and then their second album took 3 months because they had to get they had to get one out, and usually the sophomore slump,
if you're under
rushed out, exactly.
Now you guys are on BMG. I guess this is your second album at BMG.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. Because the one before that was Big Machine.
Yes, which sounds like BMG.
Yeah. Were you guys signed to a new contract, or like you said, you have some leeway with when?
Yeah, I think the last album and this album were out with Sony BMG.
Okay.
I'm not completely privy to the record deal kind of stuff.
Okay.
But I think you're right. Sounds right to me.
Okay. Now tell me about Blackbird Studios. That's in Nashville. This isn't the first album you did stuff there?
No, I think we
recorded there.
I think every album I've done with them. Pretty sure. Okay. We started Bang Zoom Crazy Hello in Los Angeles, which was the first album I was on. And then Julian Raymond, who's our longtime producer, he got hired by Big Machine. I'm not sure the exact chronological order here. Mm-hmm. But then Big Machine moved him to Nashville. So we finished that album at Blackbird. And then I think we did the next two, the Christmas album and We're All Right there. And then we did In Another World there, I think. And then this one we did at all the basic tracks were at Sound Emporium, which is another killer studio. And then they finished all the guitars at Blackbird. Beautiful studio. It's owned by the McBrides, Martina McBride and her husband John.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And obviously she's got a huge long career, and he was a very successful, I want to say like trucking company guy or PA guy.
Oh, really? Okay.
And so between they combined their dollars, and they built this beautiful studio, and the whole thing's just covered in Beatles gear and photos. It's Blackbird, and a very very Beatles centric studio. So I think everybody loves to record there.
Do they incorporate any kind of like older instruments, like older?
Yeah, I mean they've got a huge. It's almost, it could be a rental place. They've got a drum department that's massive. It's the size of this bedroom here, probably bigger. Tons of amps, vintage microphones. They still have the 2-inch reel tapes if you want to record analog, which is funny because you record analog, but then you dump it into a computer anyways. So,
yeah.
There's a plugin now that makes things sound like it came from tape. So,
how long do you spend in Nashville, or was this like with the album? Was it one period of time, or you went back there? And
drums and bass were done in like 2 or 3 days, maybe 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends. I mean, I always, when this album, like I said, was put together a bit here and there, but every other album that I've done with them, I stay the whole time because it's great. I mean, just because the drums are done doesn't mean don't want to be a part of it. I love to sit in the room and just watch Tom lay his parts down, or hear Robin do vocals, and Rick chopping away at the guitar solos, trying to figure out what he wants to do. And then we do gang vocals and percussion, and so if I leave, it's like, well, shoot, it was 2 days of my time versus 2 weeks. So
do you explore a little bit, or any places?
Yeah, I used to live in Nashville back when it was cheap. Back when it was cheap and about half the size it is now.
When a lot of things were cheap.
Yeah, I was living there. I lived there. I left Los Angeles in 2009. I moved to Nashville and lived there until I got the Cheap Trick gig in 2010. And I won't bore you, but I was dating a girl who's now my longtime wife, and she was from the Rockford area.
Oh, okay.
So I said, hey, do you want me to move? You want to move to Nashville? And I don't know anybody either. I know like 3 people. Or should I just move up and, live with you guys up there? So moved back to Rockford for the last 10 years, and then moved here to Phoenix.
Nice.
But Nashville's great. I've got so many friends there. And
what brought you to Phoenix, though? What was it?
Family, her family.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about the songs on the album. What's unique about this album is the singles that were released, except one, the Riff That Won't Quit, I really like. But 12 Gates, I wasn't real crazy about, and now I love that song. So I think these songs are songs that when you listen to them more than once, they kind of grow on you. And like I said, I've listened to the album about 4 or 5 times, and I think as a whole, the album is tight as far as the song, the way that the tracks are.
Well, everybody, you know, Tom, Robin, and Rick kind of all came in with some of their own ideas versus, you know, writing as Cheap Trick. They were writing as themselves, kind of, and you know, and then you get together and play it together, and it sounds like Cheap Trick. So, you know, just because a song's maybe a ballad doesn't mean it shouldn't be on the album. Maybe if a song's really rocking, like Riff It Won't Quit, maybe it's too rocking compared to 12 Gates, but who cares? It's the same 4 guys playing it. And
the first song I like, you know, when it's a rock album, it should start off strong, and it does, all washed up.
It comes out full speed ahead.
I love that song. Yeah. Now, like you said, I heard that the instrumentals, the music was written before the lyrics.
Pretty much. I mean, there was rough ideas, song titles or some lyrics here or there, but it was definitely written more as we knew the band kind of knew what the riffs and the chord changes would be, so we knew we could get that done, and then it'd take the time to really come up with the lyrics and melodies that just, you know, you could write a song in a day, and it's Yesterday by Paul McCartney. He wrote it in 3 hours. Or you write a song and it takes a month and a half or a year to finish. You know, some things come faster than others, and sometimes this is how it goes, and then you listen back like, you know, you put the album out and you look back and you're like, that could have been better. I'm not saying this band, any band, you know, like, shoot, I wish we'd have taken our time on that. And I think this time the band had time to sit with it and listen and go, yeah, I like that. Well, that verse is great. Or, you know, let's work on the second verse together. Or, you know, I got an idea for a different chorus or whatever it would be, you know? So it kind of was a more thought out process than going in like, well, we got to do an album in 2 weeks. Let's just go, and whatever we have is what we have. So.
Now, what is I noticed that your name isn't on like the songs.
Yeah, I didn't write anything on this album. No.
Have you contributed before, or do you just kind of sit back and?
Well, a bit of both.
You're not really I'd say new guy, but you're the newest.
I'm definitely the new guy. You know, I think Ronnie Wood's still the new guy in the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you didn't start the band, you know, it's different than
with that much history.
Yeah, there's so many guys that, you know, so many bands that have guys that have been there 30 years. And, you know, Tommy Price, the drummer for Joan Jett, he wasn't on the first 2 albums, but he was on everything else for the next 40 years. But, you know, he didn't get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The first drummer did, that was on 1 album. Or, you know, it's like, you're the new guy no matter what. So, no, I've written a lot of stuff. I've brought a lot of stuff in, but it's definitely in my writing style. And I think they listened. It was like, oh, this is cool. You should put it on your own album, you know? Yeah. So, which I understand completely. You know, they've been writing together. So you did a
lot of writing with your band.
Yeah, my own bands. I write a lot of music on my own. You know, it's in the rock and roll vein, but I wouldn't say it necessarily fit with what the guys have been doing. And so I'm okay with that's fine with me.
I think Robin's voice is still, I mean, he's 72. You know, he's not 82, but he's 72 still.
I think his birthday's coming up in a few days.
There's a new album by Van Morrison last year.
Right. Oh, really?
And the voice, like, it's not enhanced. I mean, he's not, I guess he sometimes screams a little bit, you know, like raises it, but his voice is still strong. I think he's in his 80s. So very impressed, especially All Wrong, Long Gone. I feel like Robin is really stretching his voice on that one.
That one's kind of like that's like kind of an AC/DC-ish track.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a cool one. It starts like number 1. Right? That's the one. I'm terrible with song titles. Unless it says, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. I'm like, I know what that one's called.
Can you tell me anything about that song? Now, normally Cheap Trick doesn't swear in their songs, which is great.
Right.
So they're one of the rock bands that I don't think there's hardly any, if none, like explicit songs.
Right.
Robin says ass in the song, so that's about it. You know.
Right.
But the lyric in "It's About Time for You to Get Away from My Wife." I mean, I know some of these songs aren't autobiographical,
right?
But do you know anything about this?
I know nothing about that. No. Okay. Robin wrote those lyrics on his own.
Okay.
And you know, it could be autobiographical, or it could be just, you know, a guy writing about he could be writing about a fictional character,
Yeah.
just anybody, just stay away from my wife and back off, man. Yeah, I can't speak for it. No.
I always think of Stephen King, not music, but Stephen King. He never went out there and murdered anybody. It's and songs don't have to be autobiographical. If you have a good imagination, they can be fiction.
Well, you mean Rhapsody
with a little bit of truth and a little bit of.
I think that's just songwriting in general. A good lyricist can write in the view of a teenage boy or a girl that's just gotten broken up with her boyfriend, or a guy that just lost his father. Didn't necessarily mean you did, but you can write in that sense.
Now, I was surprised because most people think that they call it terrestrial radio,
right?
Dead.
Yeah.
But there is a station in Dover, New Jersey, WDHA, and I heard the riff that won't quit a couple times. And I heard on another podcast, I'm not going to name it, but they were saying how radio stations don't play new music, or they don't play the new like rock and roll, but this station does. It plays the old stuff and the new stuff.
That's great. Maybe they probably get to choose a bit. The DJs don't just have to play the same playlist that every other station in the country is doing, because a lot of stations are all owned by a parent company. Like the news. If you watch the news in Dover and you watch it in Phoenix, you're going to get the same basic stories. Because it's all a general script, and then they do the local news here and there. But there's Little Steven's Underground Garage. He plays a lot of like new Cheap Trick on there, and it's one of those. I hate to say it with anything, but like there's kind of a generic, like we have to play Zeppelin, we have to play AC/DC, we have to play this. And I listen to radio a lot when I'm driving, and I'll be shocked. I'm like, oh, they're playing Cheap Trick. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They've been around forever, great songs, but they're not part of that you have to play list. You're always going to hear Fleetwood Mac. You're always going to hear AC/DC, Aerosmith. It's like you're going to hear those songs if you drive around long enough. Occasionally, some guy has the balls to play Cheap Trick, and I don't see why they don't more.
There's a station that I grew up listening to, Z95, I think it's in Bethlehem, Allentown area. But we always joke because they play the same 50 songs. They never changed. And we'll sometimes, my friend, if we get in the car, we'll not place a bet, but we'll kind of bet on, is it going to be Led Zeppelin? Is it going to be Pink Floyd? But they play Cheap Trick a lot. Yeah.
I think they did the research, and the average person is in their car for 25 minutes a day. So they have to play the hits so everybody hears them, it is what it is.
I can do without living on a prayer, but I don't need to hear that anymore.
Whoa.
I was watching the playoff game the other day, and the guy quoted Bon Jovi.
Oh, no kidding.
Towards the end of the game, he said to quote Bon Jovi, "They're living on a prayer." I can't get away from
it. He sold a lot of records.
Let's see, where are we? So some of the songs I like, of course, the first one, Bet It All, The Best Thing, that's the ballad.
I love that song.
Yeah. Bad Blood and Wham Boom Bang.
Right.
But Bet It All.
That's a different one. Wham Boom Bang.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
Bet It All, I think it's kind of an ominous sounding song. Can you tell me anything about this song?
Like I said, I wasn't there for any of the lyrical stuff. I think Bet It All, I believe Tom, that was a riff he had, came in with that song, and it's just killer. It's just, it's bass driven, but great chords. And then once they put lyrics to it and melodies, it became a flushed out tune. But I can't speak for any history or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure that was just a song Tom came in with, and we kind of Cheap Trickified it.
Now you've played casinos. So to go with this song, have you ever bet it all? Are you a gambler? Are you?
I am a professional drummer, so I don't gamble.
Okay.
Because I've made $0 a year, and I've made a good living some years, and so I'm not willing. I love to win, but I hate to lose, so I don't gamble. I've never bet at all. No.
If I play the slots, I'm $30 and I'm out.
Yeah, I don't even do that.
My wife will bet the house. She doesn't.
Yeah.
We never played at tables, but the slot. I remember one time in Atlantic City, I think I won like $150, and I'm like, okay, we're going. I saw this place that had prime rib,
Yeah.
And like, we're going, and I had money left over. I wasn't putting it back in. So.
Yeah, I kind of live my life as a mutual fund, low risk, low reward. I've never bet at all. I've just kind of
okay.
too afraid to like lose it all. So, I'm okay with just living a nice, steady life.
Now, Wham Boom Bang.
Yeah.
I want to know your first impressions, like if you were there when the vocals were, but in a recent interview, Robin said, this was a song that the other guys really didn't want to do, and I don't blame them. That's what he said.
I don't know if I'd go that far. No, it was definitely, it's a departure, but it's cool. It's kind of like, it's got that the original I Want You to Want Me version that they did on the first album, clarinet, very kind of vaudeville clarinet kind of. Yeah. I think it's killer. We did a song called When I Wake Up Tomorrow off of Bang Zoom, I think it was. And it was kind of like David Bowie-esque, kind of slow tune. And it was our single. And people were like, oh my God, I love this. But when you're recording something like that, it's totally different than what you normally do. It's kind of you're betting it all. There you go. Back to that. But I think it turned out killer. I love it. It's cool. It's got that throwback 1930s vibe.
I don't know why it reminds me of like Monty Python, like a Monty Python.
I think it's cool. It's almost like string, plastic, nylon string, acoustic finger picking.
Oh yeah, when he says the lyric and then the little guitar.
Yeah, I love it. I think Robin was being maybe, I don't know what word, playful or something like that, saying that we didn't want to do it.
It reminds me of Stone Temple Pilots. I think they would do stuff like that, or Scott Weiland. I remember he recorded some, I want to say they were Christmas songs. He just kind of people who you think are only are one way, but they also like, they're human. They like, and in music, maybe they like stuff that we don't know and then they incorporate it then into what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I think probably the greatest rock and roll band of all time is AC/DC, and they had one formula and they stuck to it, which is great. But, Cheap Trick has so many influences and different backgrounds. Robin came from more of a folk background, and Rick and Tom kind of came from a prog rock 1960s, 70s vibe. And, I came up in the 90s, born in the 80s, but came up in the 90s. So I've got a different vibe than they do. So, I think you'd be a fool not to at least try different ideas, unless you really think, your crowd's going to leave you. But they would. No, Cheap Trick's got so many great backgrounds, and, Robin can sing anything, and we can play most anything as a band. So why not? Why not throw it out there? And, I think they put it at the last track. So if it's the last one, people can turn it off if they don't like it. But I think it's as good as anything on there. I think it's first track, honestly, like, it's as good as anything on there. Yeah.
I think Cheap Trick needs to be on something like Saturday Night Live. I always, I've never stopped watching Saturday Night Live. Actually, I'm so old that when I was 11, when it started, my parents would go to bed and I would stay up and watch it.
No kidding.
But I think they need to bring some of the more classic bands on once in a while.
It's tough,
especially when they have new stuff, new album.
I think that they got to hedge their bets and take their risks. They don't do 52 weeks a show, but they probably do 30 shows a year, maybe.
Yeah.
So they kind of have to get the new flavor of the month out. Or I think Cher was on there this year. And I think Stevie Nicks was. They did Stevie Nicks too. So
okay, yeah, Cher was.
But I watch it sometimes. Like, I have no idea. I'm out of touch in general with new music. I've got little kids and my wife. They kind of force me to listen to new stuff, and a lot of it's good, but I would never seek a lot of it out. Or we did every Iheart Radio. I listen
to new albums.
Okay, good for you.
It depends on, I don't like rap or hip hop, but
right.
But I'll listen. I'll know like if it's alternative or rock, but I'll know the first song. Do I like the person's voice? And I'll know if you know what you like. And I've discovered a lot of newer bands, and we've interviewed a lot of newer people.
There's a whole. It's like anything. It's for 100 years now. If a style of music comes out and has a success with it, then there's 15 other artists that sound just like that. It's always been like that.
Yeah.
Whether it's Britney Spears or whether it's, I think these days, like every singer in a good way sounds like Chris Stapleton. You know, it's like every guy that comes out, you know, it's like, Teddy Swims and Chris Stapleton and the Nathaniel Rateliff, all these guys, they have that growly kind of great voices, but, you know, the label latches onto that one sound and it's, you know, like, so we're going to hear that for a year. And then the next thing comes along and, you know, Tame Impala comes out. Now there's 5 other bands that sound like Tame Impala. I think we're getting off on a tangent, but I agree with you. I think it's hard to play the classic artists on Saturday Night Live when there's 10,000 bands out there and only 30 episodes of Saturday Night Live to do a year. But yeah, we were lucky when I think it was Bang Zoom Crazy Hello and We're All Right. We had Scott Borchetta behind us and he got us on, you know, we did Colbert, we did Fallon, we did Leno back then, we did the Howard Stern show. So we got some opportunities and you know, definitely appreciated that. Would love to do more of it.
So the new tour, now Cheap Trick, I feel, has been touring nonstop since the 70s.
Yeah, people ask me,
they've always been on tour.
When does tour start? I'm like, when did it stop? Or,
yeah.
You know, how long is this tour? I'm like, 10 years? I don't know.
But I think it's kind of cool to give the tour a name, you know, and support the new album.
Yeah.
Now in a couple of days, am I right? It starts in a couple of days, or did it start last year? So,
technically we start, I'll segue you right in. Technically we start at the end of February.
Okay.
But we have 2 shows this month because we had to postpone 2 to go do the Kennedy Center Honors show.
Yeah. Okay.
There's your lead in.
And then May, you're touring with Styx.
Yeah, we're doing a few times throughout the year we go out with those guys.
What makes this tour different than past tours? I mean, you are supporting the new album, but how many songs off the album you think are going to be on the set list?
We've already been doing the first 2 singles. And you know, as a fan, you know that we like to switch up the set list a lot, you know, as much as possible. And I don't see why we couldn't play at least every song one time.
Except Wham Boom Bang, right?
Probably won't do that one. But never say never.
See that?
I'm ready. Let's do it. No, I think, you know, we try. Every band puts out an album and never almost plays the entire thing. You know, most bands put out an album. You play 2 or 3 songs off of it. So it is what it is.
I have tickets for Starland Ballroom.
Okay.
I can't get anybody to go with me. You know, my friends they're as old as me, but I think they've gotten to the point where
let them know we play about 7 o'clock at night, so they should be okay.
Get back to the home.
We try to play as early as possible as it is. So I get it though. You know, I know. I went and saw Bruce Springsteen a couple of years ago. I was like, God, it's like 3 hours in. I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Oh yeah, I know Tracy will be there. You know.
Oh yeah. We hope so.
Well, I asked her first before I got my ticket because I'm like, I could go by myself. I don't like going to movies by myself and all. You know, it's better when you go with. You know,
see, I'm the opposite. I don't want to talk during a movie or a show, so I like rolling solo.
I like the experience with a friend. You know,
that's true.
Not talking, but
you can go after dinner, after the show, go grab a late night snack, and hey, remember when they played that? Or you go see a comedian, you don't remember every joke he told, but maybe your friend brings up one you forgot. Yeah, that's true.
Now let's talk Kennedy Center Honors a little bit. This was in support of Kiss, who Cheap Trick toured with, you know, in the early days.
Right.
Tell me about the whole experience without getting, you know, we're not going to get political.
No.
But personally, and it's sad because I have to bring it up, you know, that Cheap Trick is getting some backlash. But everything's become politicized.
Right.
I posted a picture of me and Paul Stanley. It was his birthday yesterday when I met Paul. And on Threads, I never had someone comment, you know, but it was a nasty comment.
Right.
You know, I don't post political stuff. But
right.
Anyway.
No, I mean, there was nothing for us political about it. Obviously, you're not going to be naive and say there's nothing political about it, but I can't really speak for the band because I wasn't there at the time. But Kiss had such a huge part in making the band known to other people, like take them on tour. And everybody I talked to that is your age or about that age says, first time I saw Cheap Trick was opening up for Kiss in 1979, you know, and I've loved the band ever since. So without those shows, maybe, you know, the broader spectrum of people wouldn't have ever heard Cheap Trick.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, like I said, I wasn't there for the phone call either, but apparently Gene personally called.
I was going to ask if
he called the guys in the band and said, "Hey, would you please perform to honor us for this event?" And
I actually have on here. Did Gene Simmons call up your dad?
Yes, that's what I've been told. I wasn't there. I live far, far away.
I pictured Gene maybe making the call. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was a personal ask, and the band loves Kiss, and Kiss did a lot to help promote Cheap Trick, and it's unfortunate that the Kennedy Centers have been going on for a long time, and every time there's a president there, and whether you like the president or not, it shouldn't really have anything to do with the art that is being honored and the people that are being honored for their art. It shouldn't have anything
to do with politics.
So, I mean, we kind of knew there would be some backlash, but there was a lot of people that were like, "Oh my God, that's such a great thing that you got to be a part of," to be part of Kiss and to be in that room, which so many great performances have happened, so it's like anything in life, people are going to hate it or love it or somewhere in between. So
I wasn't giving up my love for Cheap Trick. So.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of Gene Simmons said recently in an interview, maybe you know what I'm going to say, talking about Peter Criss.
I don't. No.
Oh, you don't? Okay. He was talking about Peter Criss and the song Beth. First of all, kind of saying Peter didn't write the song, stuff like that. Okay. But he said drums are not a musical instrument by definition. They're called a percussive instrument. You cannot play a drum fill that could be copyrighted.
He's not wrong.
Okay.
Technically,
they are an instrument.
A song is lyrics and a melody. You can just because Walk This Way, it's instantly recognizable as that song. You can't unless the songwriter decides, hey, that was a huge part of the song. We'll give you credit for that. I mean, that's up to the whoever gets the songwriting credit. You could always give it full credit without that drum beat. But technically, they would be giving the drummer the credit for the song, even though. No, I mean, I started out playing piano. I still play piano. Started out when I was in kindergarten, took lessons till I was out of high school. I play guitar. So I consider myself a musician, not just a drummer. Yeah. But I mean, let's see Jim, no offense, but let's see a guitar player or bass player try to play the drums and see if it's not hard and it's not really important to the music, in rock and roll.
I think it's the heart. It's the heartbeat,
But it's not on the 12-note scale, and it's not technically considered part of the song.
So one last question here. Since you are now a big part of Cheap Trick, do you have a favorite Cheap Trick album or song?
No. I love Next Position Please. I love that album. I love the first half of All Shook Up. No offense to the second half, but I love the first half. The first three songs are just killer. And then World's Greatest Lover's on there. And, no, I think every album, all 21 of their albums has so many great songs, I would say start to finish, probably Heaven Tonight's probably my favorite.
Okay.
There's not a bad song on there. In Color's great. I love the 1997 Cheap Trick. Cheap Trick, the black and white cover with the 5-neck on it. I mean, you can't go wrong with that album. No, I think it's just one of those bands that I don't think they've ever put out a bad album. I think there's when you've written 400 songs, they're not all going to be great, but I think that
the one album I don't particularly like is The Doctor.
The Doctor. Yeah, I knew you were going to say that, but that's got Take Me to the Top on it. It's got, can't think of it off, but I mean, it's like anything, especially I think for those guys, their albums are their children, it's family. Like you love them all the same or whatever. Yeah. But no, I don't think there's one album that I could think of that's like, oh, that's just a dog or, I think every album has great songs on it. So, and again, I like to challenge people to go write music, see how hard it is. You go write a great album and see, people love to critique when a band puts out an album. Oh, it sucks. Like, well, okay, you go put out a better one, So.
Thank you, Daxx. And
my pleasure.
Maybe I'll see you in person on Starland.
Yeah, let me know. I'll be there.
Yeah. Okay.
When is that? Do you have any idea?
March 20th, I think.
Oh, coming right up. Okay. I'll see you there.
Yeah. See you then.
All right, buddy. Yeah, my pleasure. See ya.
Exit music by the band 99%. You've been listening to No Good Music. Today's interview was produced and edited by Rob J. Lilly and recorded via Zoom at the Did You Say 7 Studios in Washington, New Jersey. You can find No Good Music on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Pandora, and almost anywhere you listen to podcasts.